Welcome back to Football Coach, episode 36. Our offense is really pitiful this year. It's proving to be harder and harder to get that second win, just to at least stay level for the year. Our defense is so good, and yet this was a bit of a struggle for them. We were missing some key guys. We do have some guys getting healthy again, and no new injuries, which is good, but we're down to 2 chances in the final 5 games to claim victory. With the offense, the state of the offense, and just the state of the fact that we're on the road for like every game this season. I don't know quite why that is. I mean, I get it to an extent. Low prestige programs for those out of conferences have to travel more than they receive teams, more than they get to host. But we're on the road for 9 games out of 12. We got 3 home games. It's really rough to try to claim those victories under those circumstances with these crappy coaches and a rebuilding year in terms of that quarterback position. Man, oh man, I wish I knew just how much that NIL would have been a thing, because there were so many quarterbacks that wanted to play for us. And I got ambitious. I thought that we were going to get this guy. We had this huge advantage, so I didn't go after the other quarterbacks further down the list. I had one fallback, and because of NIL, we missed out on all of them, and it was like, oh my goodness. I'm still learning new things season by season, and that was a big letdown, because I think we still could have found a starter who would be a little bit better for us right now, and we'd probably have that second win at this stage had we been able to fill that position. At least the good news is the quarterback made big progression and is young, and so we'll have him solid for next year and probably 80s plus the year after that would be as a senior, but he'll be good. Anyway, this was not good. 34-6 Arizona. My objective today is not only to finish up the season, but I'd like to go all the way through off season this time. It's been a little while since I've done that with the episodes. We slowed the pace down a little, not drastically, but we went from 2 to 3 episodes for a season to 4 or 5. I don't think we quite need to be there yet, when we are still struggling to claim very many victories, when we're still a 1-star prestige program. And yeah, okay, great, we're 10 seasons in, but next season we very well might not be playing in the pack and elsewhere. We'll have a more interesting storyline, so let's approach that storyline a little bit closer. Please let us get 2 wins. Of what remains on the calendar, our best shot at a win, really the weakest team we've faced all season, is Ruckers. Yet somehow Ruckers is 4-4. They have had, an incredibly favorable schedule or a lot of luck. We have a massive defensive advantage over their offense. We're +4 in terms of overall talent, and we carry significant advantages everywhere. Their defense versus our offense, well, the rushing game is at least even, but the passing game is not very good. But they're at home. That's the repeatable theme this season, is every winnable game, we're on the road. We're on the road for all of them, and so it's just so hard to get that last little bit that you need. And our offense has just not been able to perform on the road. And yet with a massive advantage, our defense can only hold them to 27. And our offense just can't get things going. And we dropped 1-8. 27-10. It's like, that's not even really a very close game. Not even really very close. I don't know. Well, I do know what else to do. It's replace that coaching staff and get going from there. I know we're expecting the down year, right? We graduated a bunch of good receivers, and they're just a little bit down this year. And the offensive line lacks depth this year, and the quarterback position. It's obvious, right, where we're coming up short. But the coaching part is so big, and I do think maybe it's time to make that change, right? The offensive coordinator got changed this year, and it actually kind of held us back a little bit with how things are going. But we do have 2 guys ready to commit. And here's the thing about the commits right now. A lot of those may commit soon. I've been more aggressive this year, going after some battles and we are like second place, second place, second place, second place in most of them. So we're still not finding a way to just eke out that little bit more. I've got a lot of small NIL deals going on those as well to try to help turn second place into first place, and it's looking not likely. But at the same time, the regular recruiting is all happening. The ones where we're coming into the May commit soon and there's no offers at all, we're still sweeping those up, and we haven't had any commits yet for the year. So this is the beginning process. These are the first commits, whether we get them or not. These are the first ones that have come in to commit, even though we're this deep into the season. It's just the way it's played out this year. And the normal, we have first pick because literally nobody else is in on them. Either there was one school and that school hasn't spoken with them yet, and or literally no one. So that whole group, it's still there, and I'm into scouting those guys now, and I'm just starting to get the first few reveals back. Like, I've already found one that's pretty good in there that's going to be a safety that I'll probably end up offering. But the thing is I used to do those guys at the beginning of the season. Now I'm going for guys that there is competition on that we're probably not going to win, but all it takes is winning one or two of those to change the script a little bit to win bigger, better battles for better players. We've got an offensive lineman who's a 66A junior college. I haven't gone for a junior college in a long time, but he's a 66A. He does lack durability, but that's a heck of a pickup if we can get him. But East Carolina was number one on him, and we'll get him. That's a much bigger gap than what we were looking at, but it was about 1,000. They were pretty far ahead, and this was one of those ones that I was pretty confident on that we weren't going to get, but we went for the battle anyway to try. But this has been a fantastic one. So this is somebody I just found a few weeks ago in that may commit soon. I bumped up my scouting very, very quickly, and his overall rating just went up into a 74. So mid-60s is our normal. Now, B- potential isn't great, but durability is there. And unless somebody offered this week, he's ours because there was no other offer. And there was no other offer. So it stayed that way. We've got ourselves a gem. Huge 74 out of high school. It's going to be hard to redshirt him next year. It's going to be hard to pick 4 games and to sit him the rest to get him into that stretch. This is somebody who's going to be an NFL draft pick at some point, probably, because he's got potential and he's starting at such a high quality level. And when I first grabbed him, he was like a 67 or a 68. So massive jump in that current overall ability, and that is a great signing. This is like your signing of the season, and it's our first signing of the season. Okay, we've done it. Second win of the season. The unlikely foe. It's Utah. It's home game matters so much. We've done the minimum for the year. We've met the expectation. It's not good. We're 2-8. We got 2 games left. Colorado is very much a winnable game. They are down this year. Last year was an up year for them. They're down again this year, but we're on the road. So we've got a chance for one more. I doubt we're going to get it. It's right. Offense has been such a struggle, but 3 weeks in a row of no new injuries, something like that, and we've been getting guys bit by bit coming back and getting healthy. That's certainly helping, but we've beaten Utah 20-17. We have a win streak, 2 in a row. We've beaten Colorado on the road to go 3-8 on the season. We will finish 3-9 as USC is our final game. So not only have we made that bare minimum, we've made the kind of the expectation, right? I should be getting 3 wins or more a season now. We haven't even exceeded that yet, but the defense didn't even do its job today. It was the offense. The offense showed up and put up 38 points for us. We do pick up 2 new injuries, including a major one to Derek Cruz, who's already been injured this year. He was fully healthy again, though, but that's not his first injury of the year. That's our top linebacker, but there's one game left. It's fine. Cale Elliott, though, also picking up an injury. That's our redshirt sophomore, fantastic cornerback that is missing now. But 2 more recruits ready to sign. I think we've got a chance on this first one. 74 overall, a potential, but junior college guy. This is not territory that I've been in for a long time, but we're going to get him. We're going to get a 74 overall, a potential guy who's loyal. He'll come in as a true junior, like ready to be in the lineup right away, and I might not redshirt him. I might let him play the 2 years. We'll see, though, where we're at lineup-wise for next year. He's even better than I thought. A 66 overall B- potential. Offensive lineman out of high school. That is a fantastic start point. That's 10 points better than what we normally get. And we're going to get him as well. So the signings we've gotten so far have been really good. A lot of the ones that I've been going after, like, they're just not going to happen. But amazingly, they haven't dropped out yet. Now, part of the reason why a lot of those guys haven't dropped out yet is I set up a whole lot of visits for our final game of the season, USC at home, so we can get a big bonus, even though we're not going to win that game, obviously, but get a big bonus to the recruiting. And that's the best shot we have at signing those guys, because we've got them into that like second position. They won't commit while there's still a pending visit, and so it's forcing them to go into the tail end of the season. And if we can get a big enough boost with USC, especially if we can make a decent game of it, lose is lose, but if we can make a decent game of it, we might get enough bonuses that maybe, just maybe, and I've been holding out hope that one of those guys can flip into first place and be ready to sign almost immediately. Corbin Muhammad, our running back, our starting running back. No, our third running back. This is my short yardage gain running back this year. 3 touchdowns for him in that game against Colorado. Holy crap, and USC is only 5-5? What in the world happened to them? I mean, they're an 82-84. Yowzer, that's obviously not good enough to be a top 10 team in the country, but that should be good enough to be a lot better than 82-84, and we're at home. Could it be that we could make it 3 in a row? That's funny. I'll still say that that's funny. It is USC. I don't know. They are massively down this year. We almost did it. We almost beat USC. We certainly put in a good game. 28-23 is lost, so we will finish 3-9. After starting 1-0, it was one of those, we're definitely going to get that second win. And then as the season drug on, especially after losing to Hawaii and another close loss, only the second time we've had a close loss, but just the never beating Hawaii, no matter how much better we are than they, is just so frustrating. And so I was really getting nervous. And then 2 wins in a row and nearly 3 to wrap up the season is the sour taste is completely gone. Like, considering the drop off in offense this year, talent. 3-9 in a rebuilding year with a young quarterback, like, I'll take that for the 1-star prestige program that we are. Like, that was good, and I'm optimistic about next year having a stronger roster. Is that enough to keep the job for the coach? Well, it's 3 wins. I mean, he should be picking up some XP, right? Well, anyway, we've got Raul. It's not that hard to say. Raul. Christopher, a loyal 64 overall, B+. Durability is not great. Linebacker. He was one of those may commit soons with 0 offers. North Carolina did offer last week on this one. So, we're way behind. 3,000 points behind. We came in very late on the list. We weren't present at all. We jumped College Station. A&M, right? Texas A&M and Cincinnati. We jumped them very, very quickly, and all it was going to take was one to come in. I mean, we're looking at like no pitches, nothing. Those guys were putting in minimal effort. So somehow North Carolina decided an NIL deal was worthwhile after the visit, but I'm supposing that they suddenly, after doing zero effort on this guy, went, oh, he's a gem. Yeah, and then threw in the NIL. I think that all probably just happened. Well, of course it just happened because, the offer just came in last week. So this is pretty much the only way that I really go after 2-star guys anymore. Late in the season, right? We're done with games at this point. It's the no offers, not targeted, unscouted, and the leftovers, right? That leftover group. I've mentioned it before, but I just wanted to briefly show you here. Linebacker is a position that I've not been able to find yet. I had a single guy on my list. We do have a need, and the guy that's left on my list is not one that I'm really proud of. So we're now looking for the leftovers. I'm looking for the best of the best. So interest doesn't matter anymore, right? These guys have there's no real competition here. And so I'm sorting by overall, hoping for somebody who's that a little bit higher up, and then I can add from that list going, okay, well, we're looking at all the best players left. It's all 2-star guys at this point. All the 3-star stuff is long gone by this point in the season. I've already been through that. I've already scouted that. There's nothing there, or everybody else is beating us out to what is there. And so we're starting with best overall, hoping that then as you begin to scout, I've already used all my scouting points for the week, so I haven't been able to scout any of them yet, but we'll bring them in. We'll get 5% this week on the scouting. Next week I should have scouting points left over to be able to draw another 15% on each of them for that. That'll get me to 20. Plus the week will get me to 25, and a week later we'll get to 30, and then from there I'll be able to eliminate 95% of these guys because they won't have the potential. They're only 2-star recruits, but suddenly one of them has a B+ or one of them has an A-, and he'll stay on the list. And then we'll hope to get him up to 60%, and it probably will end up dragging over into off-season recruiting, where that one guy, and if he's, fingers crossed, also got the durability side, that combination means that ends up being the guy we signed. And because there's no competition, nobody else is going for him, where here's your exception, right? Maybe a Washington State or a Tulsa do end up offering for this Mitchell guy down the road. Hey, we were on his list, by the way, and we're not even that far behind. So there's medium interest. We might actually still be able to catch up and take over if this turns out to be the guy. Here's a new one, though, with the low interest. That's a little bit harder one if either of them. But the thing is Nebraska's not interested, right? So it's TCU or it's Kansas. One of them, if they decide they want to go for him, could be complicated. I used to try to ignore those early on and go for others and, just find these guys, the unexplored options. These ones are fine because they're not actively recruiting. But, yeah, I used to maybe pick these two up instead of those two. I'm less bothered by that now. I think I can handle those kind of programs. If we're this late in the season they're not offering, it's very unlikely that they will. But if there is that competition, there's a decent chance that I can pull ahead of that kind of program in this amount of time. But I wait till really late in the year now to start this portion of my scouting and process, because I'm trying to be competitive, not just now on the football field for that occasional win, a 3-9 kind of year like we've just had, but for the competition. If I can get in early on a competition, maybe, just maybe, we can beat somebody, right? I've said it before. If we can start winning a few of those battles, it's all it's going to take us to a slightly higher level. And slightly higher is all it's going to take to turn 2 wins or 3 wins into 4 or 5 wins consistently and raise that prestige. right? Where we are so close to being regularly competitive. And same with those coaches, right? We get a little bit more leveling, play calling, like just a little more, just a little more. It's all. That's it. We are so close to being regularly competitive and beginning that trend, that upward trend. We've kind of already started it, right? We're still in the 1-star prestige. This is another year that's going to boost us up. I think we're going to be pretty close to 2 stars following this one. I mean, we were almost halfway through the 1-star prestige, and a 3-win year like this should get us 3/4 to 4/5 of the way. I don't think we'll quite reach 2 stars, but I think next year, especially if we have at least 3 wins again, I think next year we will make that 2nd star. And we could be headed, this is the realignment year, we could be headed to a smaller conference where the schedule itself is going to be naturally easier, and then we can, schedule a new 9-10 star big money deal and make some progression. I think a lot of good things could be coming in the next year or so. We are so close to really being at a different competitive level than what we're doing right now. By the way, all those USC boosts, they certainly came in and we made up ground, but the week by week being 80 points behind because our best pitch is just weaker than their best pitch or their average pitch, and so every week we're a little behind, less than 100 points, but we're always behind, and so they've just pulled away, and the ground we just made up this week was not enough for any of them. We're a lot closer. Instead of 1,000 points behind average for all of those battles, half a dozen of them, suddenly we're 500, 600 behind. So I don't think we're going to win any of those battles this year. But it's good to see that we are close. We're close. It's going to take a little more coach recruiting ability. It's going to take that little more prestige or a little bit more pitch quality in terms of, a facility or other school upgrade. Just a little more, and we're going to start winning those. All right, here we go. Signings are rolling in now that those games are done, and I think I'm going to end up losing quite a few of these, as many are what I would guess are the that we were second on the list, 500 points behind, but they couldn't commit because the USC visit date. But let's get through it. So yeah, here's one of them. Boston was definitely ahead on this one. We lose by 700. We've got offensive line. A lot of guys coming in. They've got us number 1 on the favorites, but it's Missouri. We were second on this list. We did come in with an NIL a long time ago. It was the visit that just got us closer, and it didn't even get us there in the end. We were 744 down, not 500 down. Quarterback. This one could be. I think we were the only ones. Yes, I just offered him this week. I figured the other quarterback was not going to happen, and so I went ahead and offered our plan B quarterback just to get somebody in. No NIL. I don't want to waste money on an NIL for quarterbacks. We don't have that kind of money, and we've already seen how the market works around them, so just bringing in somebody kind of average to back up to be here that's loyal. I need that to keep depth in the system and not spend so much time pining over quarterbacks. Anyway, tight end, not going to happen on this one. It's going to be Illinois. 700 points behind. That was another one of those. All 3 of these guys are the ones that I was talking about. Here's an interesting one. It's a 78 overall junior college guy. Now, potential is lacking. I never got far enough to... the durability is bad. But it's a 78 overall. Junior college transfer, safety, and it wasn't us. It was Waco. Okay. Damn. I didn't offer. So, this one, it was that overall, and I was showing a 76 and was like, I can't turn that down, right? The potential is lacking. I did not get far enough to get a 60%. It was somebody I found recently, and, I got into that 30%. I think I was up to about 50 this week, and I wanted to use a scout point on him to find the durability, but it was like he's got too much quality to just leave him out. I'm trying to look in different directions right now, and especially paying a little more attention to these higher overalls. Like, regardless of potential, if they've got a really good overall rating, they can contribute. Even if they don't develop much, they can contribute. They're never going to be the guy who's a 90. I don't need a ton of those. It's nice to have them. They're super rare as it is. When you start so incredibly low, all it takes is one little misstep and you're going to fall behind. When you start so incredibly high, even if you don't develop, you're already so incredibly high. You're already able to contribute to a program such as ours, day one, all day, every day. You just might not break into NFL caliber. You might be our number 2, number 3 guy throughout. I did that with a wide receiver recently who just graduated last year, and he was our number 1 guy in last year's class. Gyro Harden. He was like a C-, and I went ahead and took him because he had a high overall, and it worked out pretty well. And he still made that jump senior year. Anyway, one more here. A D lineman, 61 overall, B-, lacking durability. But Arizona came in. That was another one of those ready to commit 3-star guy. Little bit higher overall. That's not as high as it was looking. I had him at a 63, and then saw the B-, and the may commit soon, and it was like, okay, we're gonna take a shot on that one. But Arizona wanted him more, so we only got one of these. We only got one, but it's a good one to get out of the way. 3 more commits are in. A couple typical guys that I go after, and one that's not so typical. So we've got an offensive lineman with good potential, but there was competition on this one. This was another one of those a little bit later in the season. Saw that nobody was going after him. Was not in a may commit soon, but it was like 3-star offensive lineman and with potential. But unfortunately, eventually, 2 of the programs that wanted him came in. So we had a huge head start. But Maryland and South Carolina, we actually were able to get in the middle of this, but Maryland came in and took that one away from us. This safety, though, that's us, nobody else, B+, with very good durability. Just a 62 overall, though. It's lower than the normal safety, but it's a really good combination of potential and durability that I couldn't say no to. And here's the oddball one. It's a tight end. That strange position for us that I've spent a lot less time and effort on now in recent seasons, as it's our least used position. We really only need kind of one guy in each class, and it's a 4-star with a 66 overall and durability. Potential lacks, but he's starting 10 points higher than our normal tight end, so we went for him, and nobody was interested. He was in a may commit soon many weeks ago, and then like 2 weeks ago, both Georgia and West Virginia decided, oh yeah, sure, 4 stars, we need this guy. So he's going to Georgia. We had a pretty healthy head start on this. At least 6 weeks. We still ended up 6,000 points behind. It's Oregon on top this season, the only undefeated team, 13-0, and carrying that number 1 seed into the playoff with Clemson, Ohio State, and Texas as the other 4 with the byes. Setting up Oklahoma at Michigan State for the 8-9 matchup. Cincinnati at Florida in that 5-13. Notre Dame at, I believe, Texas A&M. I have it somewhere, but never mind. And Michigan at Georgia in the other matchup. And then, of course, your bowl games. Ruckers got one at 5-7. And then Wisconsin, Virginia, Houston, Washington State. Like, we have got to be so close. Like, get back to an 80 plus in both sides of it. I feel like we can have that 5-7 season before too long here. There is your top 25 rankings. And our D-line gem that I've been after forever and a day, they give us less than a 5% chance because, it's not forever and a day. Never mind. I know which one this is. It was another one of those may commit soons, but it was a mid-season. No, none of them really came in that early. It was a tail end of season. It's been a while now. I mean, I've had a good 6-7 weeks chasing this guy, but with them not bothering, but we could only make up so much ground. And then both Oklahoma and Texas Tech, I believe, is West Texas. Anyway, both of them coming in a couple weeks ago. So they've only just woken up to this guy like 2 weeks ago, and we've been after him for 6-7 weeks, but that's not that long, and they have that much of a head start simply because of who they are. For the moment, 5 recruits isn't a lot. We've certainly had more at this stage, but 3 of them are great, and I'm fairly happy about the other 2 as well. So we've got 5 good recruits, all 3-star guys, 4 high schoolers. Weird to be after a junior college guy once again, but that is what it is on that part. Because of the junior college part of this running back, I'm still actively recruiting 1 high school running back for now to keep the class linkage rolling. And then I'm still going after that better quarterback, and we are much closer to being in that battle than we had been. All of a sudden, it's like they took 1 week off of recruiting him, and we closed the gap by a few hundred points. And he was one of those ones who was here for the USC one, and the bump put us from like 1,200 behind to only about 400 or 500 behind. He got the biggest jump out of that game. So we suddenly find ourselves 200 or 300 points behind with no NIL offer, and I'm a little tempted because he's in that A range, but it's like, but he's gonna just transfer out when he can't get a starting job anyway. NIL money is so wasted on those quarterbacks, I feel. But anyway, this is a really good start. I mean, we are done at cornerback and safety with the 2 guys that we've got, and we've got a very good offensive lineman in the 1 that we've got with a really big head start. He's plus 10 compared to normal. It's a good start to our recruiting class, and I think we could be landing a few more before we get into off-season mode. So a much better class than those last couple iffy ones, and we're heading in the right direction right now. We're heading in the right direction in wins. The only downside is, despite 3 wins, they've got our ranking quite a bit lower this year than those last couple of years. And yeah, I'm not sure we're going to gain much prestige at all despite 3 wins. Oregon senior quarterback has won the Heisman Trophy for the year, where a Georgia defensive lineman who's only a junior has won Defensive Player of the Year. Freshman of the Year has gone to UCF's quarterback, and Coach of the Year has gone to College Station, A&M. Oregon has nearly swept the awards for the conference, but here's the important part. Do we have anybody here? Because I did have one who had a promise about making it. It was one of our D linemen. He has not made the first team D line, as Cal and Oregon have swept those with guys who have lower ratings than him, but more successful programs. Oregon is all over this first team all conference this year. It's mostly them. Second team, nope. We're going to lose some big-time integrity this year. Not a 1. And Oregon has really shown up again, even on the second team all conference. They have dominated selections this year. All right, that secondary quarterback, we were very, very close, but we were very much second on this. I think we should be a little bit behind. I'll be surprised if we get him. We're 300 points further behind than we were on the estimates too, so 679 behind. It's Kansas State is Wichita, I think. They offered him $1.25 million. That was probably the difference. I think the points available for, $1.25 million. Yeah, that probably would have been about 700 points. I think that's a battle we can win if we can spend that NIL money. And 1.25 is not that bad, but we're talking about a high school guy that might not ever play it down for us. We've reached the end of the season. So Michigan State wins against Oklahoma in a close one. Florida beats Cincinnati. Texas A&M beating Notre Dame in a very close game. That went down as an instant classic. And Georgia just squeaks out the victory against Michigan, setting up that second round with Clemson beating Georgia in double overtime. A&M beating Ohio State by a touchdown. Florida with the upset over Texas by 10. And the big surprise is the 1-8 matchup where Michigan State crushes Oregon. It's 26-3. Yikes on that part. And then Florida upsets Michigan's, well, not upsets, but a very, very close triple overtime, 58-55 shootout between Florida and Lansing, or Michigan State, with that one also going down as a classic. And then Clemson beating A&M 35-17. Clemson going on to win the championship, going 14-1 on the year, the number 2 team, the number 2 seed. Not having to face the number 1 certainly helps, but that's also a very good Florida who was 14-1. A lot of really, really good teams this last season, but it's Clemson who are the national champs. Definitely not a good year for the coach integrity, though. It's going to take a big drop down to 66 as 2 promises end up being broken. One, a little bit surprising because Noah Hurley did have a good season. 44 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 16 pressures, and he doesn't make all conference. He was the best rated defensive lineman in the conference. He was better than all of the, 8 guys who were named either first team or second team all conference. He was better than all of them. Quality, his numbers, not better than all the first team guys, but his numbers were certainly better than all of the second team guys with a better overall rating. But we have weaker marketing, and I think that's part of it too. I do think that that's part of it. Disappointing because he put up the numbers to make all conference. He had the quality to make all conference, but he doesn't make it. So we lose 10 integrity instead of gaining 2. And that 12-point swing would have had us be a +1 for the year on the coach integrity. Instead, we end up with a massive -11. I knew we were not going to win 6 games. Like Jackson Mitchell, I knew that I was throwing away 6 integrity. Hurley, big surprise. Big surprise. He got screwed, and therefore our coach integrity takes a huge hit. Our final ranking is exactly 70th, though, so the prestige really isn't going to go anywhere. That's right at that bare minimum. It might be +3 points or something. That's about it. By the way, I never did talk about it at the beginning of the year in direct comparison to previous years, but we were so focused on that drop in offensive quality. So 83 a year ago was the best we've ever had. We had an 81 the year prior. So clearly the 78 was a step back. We had 1 year with an 80, but otherwise, the 78, it's up there. That's an average year for us compared to other seasons. But defensively, that 81, 3rd year in a row that we've had an 81 on defense, but also a couple spots higher in the ranking than the previous years. And we definitely had a bigger year in terms of that defensive performance. But offensively, we were 65th at the end of the season. Defensively, we were 50th. And when you throw in the yardage, I'd say we averaged about 70th on offense. Pretty close to our ranking of 73rd. But defensively, 50th and 53rd, that's about 50th best. Not far off from what that ranking was. It's really surprising considering the offense was somewhere about 70th best and the defense was somewhere around 50th best, and the record at 3-9 absolutely is not 70th worst. That's the lack of marketing, and we're going to have to invest a couple levels into marketing if we are going to want to see this prestige come up. I've heard others have attempted a similar challenge to what I'm doing, but without all of the additives, all of the things that made it really tough, all of the low levels, the coaches, low levels, everything combined, adding additional geographic distance, this, that, and the other thing. All of it combined really makes what's already a difficult challenge insanely tough. But here's the thing. Here's our record for the last 5 years. After our last 0-12 season that we had, we only had 2 wins in all of the first 5 years. But for the last 5 years, 1-11, 1-11, 2-10, 3-9, and 3-9. We are getting better. It is a grind. I know it's a grind. But the first era is now going to be behind us. Will we be in the conference next year? Well, we're going to find out here really soon. This year, 3 wins, more than the 2, but the 80 opinion still does not increase. I mean, come on. What does it take for this athletic director to be happy? Because that's already unrealistic for a 1-star program. But again, I added and added and added, and the cost to raise, I added that too, right? Remember, we piled on and piled on and piled on and piled on and piled on. We piled it all on. This is the hardest that this game could possibly be. And I know others have been able to take 10 years and have a winning program, have a 6-6 kind of year on a regular basis, and have that prestige climbing. And I know we have not been able to get there, but it's the layer upon layer upon layer upon layer that has made it just that hair harder. We are getting so close to winning battles for guys, but not quite. We're getting so close to getting consistent wins to raise the prestige. Almost, but not quite. 3-9 this year should be a higher ranking, but it's not. We're going to have to just keep on trucking. We are making the progress. It is so clear, but it's minor. But it is clear, but it's minor. But it's clear, but it's minor. Okay, now that we've reiterated that point, let's see what happens. What's the change for the coming year? Are we going to be into a different conference? The fact that we are still really close to that A+, and if we can start winning, I like our chances. This, though, puts the coach possibly on the chopping block. Again, we've set up enough challenges, we've gone enough years that if I have a better option, I think I'm going to take it. We're ready to stop adding to the difficulty and start adding to the build. And if that means better coach, then we'll take a better coach. We would need to have a contract, or we just need to... I think we send them out into free agency and either re-sign them as a free agent from there, or, yeah, goodbye coaches. Goodbye coaches. I'm going to let their contracts lapse and go into the free agency market. We have a spread pass first that we need to link up with. Everything else is wide open. So we've got a candidate for the head coach position, and I'm going the complete opposite direction of what we've been doing. It's somebody who's fixing to retire fairly soon, but he's level 19. Spread pass first, 3-4. Conservative zone, not overly a fan of that one, but I like that he's on the 3-4. He has been a head coach, but it was a long time ago. He did win our conference coach of the year back when this thing first started. And we're looking at somebody who was a head coach at Arizona State, 8-5, but that only met expectations. And then 1 year of 6-7. And I think we actually might have upset them that year for our first win ever. And he missed expectations and moved on. Did not get fired, but did not get renewed. Not renewed. And so he ended up at USC. They had an off year. The staff got let go. He was new to that, but it was clean house. So then he goes to Florida State, and they had back and forth mixed match. 1 year was good, the others were not. And so eventually, after 4 years, and as offensive coordinator throughout that time, he was let go. And then a couple years at Maryland. I don't care about that. We're a 1-star prestige program. I don't care if this guy has been winning much. What I really care about is what his attributes are and what he would bring to the table for a program like ours, because he has dropped over the years and has been stable for just the last 2. Never mind the past years. All I care about is right now at 67. He is not the offense or defensive guy. I have the coordinators for that. I want the coordinators to specialize in that. I need the head coach to be a big recruiter and to be able to handle training. His training is already at the level of my other coaches. He's maxed out. He is a 10 on recruiting, as high as it could be, meaning he could be very, very, very effective at that. He's not going to get a badge anytime soon. He's gone backwards, so no new badges coming. But again, he's going to retire in a year or 2 years or 3 years, and we'll be looking for a new coach, and that's fine. At this point, I need somebody who can handle the position better. But here's what else he does for us. Quarterback recruiter, extra 50 points for every time he pitches to a quarterback. And a cornerback, same thing. He develops wide receivers well. He gets us 2 extra scouts every week all season long. Holy crap. That's a lot of information on all those 2-star guys to find those diamond and roughs, find those A's and A pluses that are hidden within there as the season goes on, and be able to get into battle faster for those that we do want to take on and try to recruit with, somebody who can actually recruit. And he's a miracle worker with the offensive line, shortening injuries by 2 weeks down to a minimum of 1. And then he's also a recruit. It's all recruiting with this guy. Route runner, recruiter. Recruiting pitches to players with route runner archetype yield 100 extra points. It's worth a shot. We don't know what the contract he's going to ask for, though. That could be a factor. 1.35 million. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I do think he's got like 1 year left on his contract. We might have a buyout, but we're past team lock, so there might not be a buyout situation. I'm not sure. Ooh, okay. Integrity. I did not know that integrity would overlap onto a new coach. So we're not starting at a 50, we're starting at a 58. That makes the 12-point swing of not making all conference for a guy who clearly was all conference caliber, comfortably belonged on all conference. That 12-point swing hurts. We'd be at a 70 right now, year 1 with this new coach. Here's something. So when a school makes a head coach change, coach integrity of the school decays back to the starting value of 50. Okay. This means losing integrity if over 50 or gaining integrity if under 50. Okay, so it closes in, like halfway or something like that? We were 16 points up. Half of that, I see. So we wouldn't be a 70 if we were that 12 points higher. We would be 6 points higher, though. We'd be at a 64. Penalty is reduced if promoting. I just about promoted our offensive coordinator. New coach. All right, well, we're locked in on the spread and pass first and a 7, so we're going to get a double bonus. We are going to be in good shape in the coming year, but we are now going to be forced into that pass first. The funny thing was I changed to the pass first before the year because we got the new coach in, and it was like, finally we can have pass first and get away from run first. And then we had a good running back and a young quarterback and young wide receivers who weren't as good, and it was like, oh, run first it is. So we still ran run first this year, but it'll be pass first next year. All right, well, we have a 3-4 conservative zone, and the existing defensive guy, whose contract has expired, by the way, and now he's with the expiring contract, he is leaving for Texas Tech. So, or not TCU. He is moving on to TCU anyway. Again, he is past 40 now, so he is not going to get bonuses any longer. Let's see if we can find a 3-4 conservative zone who can coach and then has something left in this department. So just 4 options at defensive coordinator, and we're looking at 2 young guys, 2 old guys. We're looking at similar levels for all, and none of them have a job. Now, the downside on this guy is like he's got the fewest badges, but he's the youngest. And if we're talking about the coaching side, well, he's right where we were, but losing 4 training points. But 33, and his badge is a good one with a cornerback recruiter. As young as he is, I think this Brandon Knight, and giving us the double bonus, so his 6 becomes an 8. We're going to run a 3-4 conservative zone. That's going to be where we head now, which means we've got to make sure we're training guys in zone defense a lot, as that's going to be the play calling direction much more frequently. The alternative guy that I was definitely looking at is, the 44-year-old who's already got a few badges, but he's only one level higher and 11 years older. So while we would get our 10 in defense, he can't train, he can't recruit, and he's not going to get any bonuses as he's already 44. Taking years of bonuses to develop this guy who's really ahead of the ones we started with anyway, at a time where we're starting to win youth and starting to win in a higher place than where those guys started, seems like we've got a chance to be more successful. And we're in a position where our coordinators are matching the head coach, where we're getting a double bonus for both. I think this is going to help us head in the right direction faster. And I don't think he's ever had a job, so he'll be an easy, cheap hire. We're looking, $300K for 3 years. And so there's your schemes with your double bonuses. Retirements in the league: Oregon's head coach, 2-time conference coach of the year, and he's going to leave it with a failed playoff. All right, 2 D linemen graduating, both in the draft mock of 3rd and 5th rounds. So they're looking pretty good, and that's a pretty small group. I mean, only 13 guys are graduating. I didn't realize it was such a small group, and it's a 77 plus for each and every one of them. In terms of performance, well, it's Noah Hurley. I don't know, maybe because he was 2 stars, but with the potential that we brought in, such a fantastic one with Noah Hurley. He was a great find. He had a fantastic career. I don't know how he didn't make conference, and how we're going to be 6 integrity lower for next year as a result of him not getting the obvious selection. Very sad. Very, very sad. But nobody else jumping to the draft. But we do have 4 that want to exit, and one is very, very worrying, as it's our fantastic redshirt freshman running back who will take over as the starter in the coming year. And he will. I'm going to make him a promise, but I have a feeling we're going to be in trouble depending on how big the promise is that he wants. I already know his want. It's wins. He wants to win. We had somebody this year who wanted 6 wins. We've had somebody in years past that wanted 2 or 3 wins. If he wants 2 or 3 wins, I think we're going to easily get it and keep him around. If he wants 6 wins, he's going to be here one more year. He'll be an 80-something running back, and as a redshirt sophomore, he'll be heading either to the NFL or onto a bigger, better program where he can then be their starter and go have a great final couple of years. But we've got 9 players returning that are going to be a 79 or better. We have 15 guys that are a 77 or better. So we're looking really good for a very, very large number of players that are going to be 80 plus, and some guys that are going to be 90 plus for next year. I'm optimistic that next year could be that first 4-win season. It's 5 wins or $1.5 million in NIL. Here's the thing, folks. 5 wins, that's pushing it. Our record's 3. We've never exceeded that. And next year, we might. Especially if we're in a smaller conference, and we don't yet know if we're going to be in a smaller conference. 5 wins is asking a lot, though. And then he would be a guaranteed loss. Not only would we lose the coach integrity, we would lose the player if we don't keep the promise. I'm going to spend the NIL money on him. And we're going to spend the NIL to keep him here, because that takes care of it. That is a solution that keeps him here into the next year if he doesn't go to the draft. So in the end, we're going to have 5 players leaving. 2 that I don't want to make promises to. We have a safety. He's good. He's a 75 overall, but he's a low potential guy. Redshirt freshman with 3 guys ahead of him on the depth chart. I can't promise him 40% of the snaps. He had 7% this year. The next guy up the list got about 30%. He'll be the next guy up the list next year, meaning he can get 30%. but he's low potential, and there's already another 75, and there's a 74. There's too much quality with higher potential for me to be able to guarantee this guy that he's going to get 40% of the snaps. So as much as it hurts to let a redshirt freshman go who's already got a pretty good overall rating, I have so much depth at safety that I can't make him a guarantee. So I'm going to let him go. We've got a good one coming in anyway. It'll be fine. Unfortunately, our backup quarterback is leaving, but he's only a 72 anyway as a redshirt freshman, and he wants playing time. That's how the market works. We'll look to find a replacement who can come in of a similar type mold, so that we continue the depth at the position. But it is what it is. Cutting our 1-star kicker, who went backwards, had a -2 last year, or a -1, whatever it was. We've got a redshirt sophomore offensive lineman who has not developed fast enough, and a defensive lineman who has not developed fast enough and took a huge hit in potential. He was like a 58B, and he's now a 60C, or he was like a 59B. He added like 1 point and lost a letter grade in potential. Has the durability. I mean, there's a reason why I signed him, but they're not keeping up pace with the development that we need. So we are going to add 5 more scholarships, putting us at 72. So we've got room to sign 13 for this offseason. Hurley did go in the 3rd round. McLaughlin got bumped up from 5th round, where he was projected in the mock draft, up into the 4th round, but just barely at 31st. But yeah, both of them make it in the draft. We are absolutely producing some talent these days, where we are getting 1 to 2 guys in the draft on a yearly basis now. Record book updates, and as much as I thought we were going to get our conference realignment before the end of this episode, it's not going to happen, because next up is the off-season recruiting, and that's going to take me hours to do the 3 sessions before that. Then we get into signing day, and then comes the conference realignment at the very end of the year. So that's going to happen into the next episode. This will be it here with the school record update. I'll say this is career record. So 2,200 yards is a career record for us. Yee. I feel like that could be crushed if we can retain a certain somebody for the next couple of years anyway. Rushing touchdowns, Alisea, 14. Tackles for loss, Hurley, 49, and sacks, 17. This is all career records. And McLaughlin, the other one going in the draft, 3 forced fumbles. Single season record updates. Mohammed, 9 touchdowns. That's your punch it in at the goal line guy. And he did so successfully 9 times. Tackles for loss. Hurley, 14 in 1 season. Forced fumbles. McLeod with 2, the linebacker this season. That's a record. Yikes. And single game records this year. Rushing yards, Alisea, 126. Also 21 attempts in that same game, the season opener against Tulsa that we won 24-3. The rushing touchdowns, Muhammad had 3 in 1 game, 9 for the season, and McLaughlin had a defensive touchdown during one of the games. He also had the 3 forced fumbles. I'm wondering if he happened to pick that up. That was against Oregon. As for team records, offense, nada. But on defense, points per game, 26.8, new record for us. Yards per game, 417. Passing yards was 223, by the way. The keep it under 275 3 times. Yeah, we did it 10. We did it 10. We're going to get that million and a half bonus. Defensive sacks, 30. Forced turnovers, 22. That's the other 750K. We'll get both bonuses. And defensive talent, 80.9, best year we've had. And individual game records, 3 points, 190 yards, 55 rushing yards, and 81 for that defensive talent, all against Tulsa to open the season. That's going to do it for this episode. We're close, folks. We're close. Like I said, even if we stay in the conference, we are making that progress. If we bump down to a smaller conference, the finances are going to get a little bit trickier. But those wins are going to come a lot easier, and we'll be able to raise the prestige and start making that money back. It's a good trade-off, I suppose. And, the TV money's not that good right now, so it wouldn't drop that much if we were bumped down to a smaller conference. It could be a good thing for us. certainly could help us get out of the gutter, which we're already out of the gutter, though. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. It's hard to get those wins in this conference, though. I'm a Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.